Everybody ready? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, while we were being distracted by Will and Jada and their shenanigans, we got some Has the World Gone Bad news. So, today's articles, I have a couple of them, not too much. But the first one we have is Bad Samaritan. Bad Samaritan shopper gets phone back but learns something else stolen in North Carolina, sheriff says. A Food Lion shopper had his identity stolen and bank account frozen after someone stole his cell phone from his grocery cart. Lincoln County Sheriff's investigator said Friday. In a seeming act of kindness, a woman called the shopper to say she had his cell phone and wanted to return it to him, according to a sheriff's office news release. The victim had already reported the phone as having been stolen during his March 18 grocery run, investigators said. The woman handed him the phone after he dropped by her home to pick it up, Steele told investigators. He soon tried to make a purchase with his bank card, but the purchase was denied due to insufficient funds, according to the news release. He checked his bank statements and found at least $2,000 in purchases he'd never made, sheriff officials said. Jessica Ann Shaw, a 27-year-old from Lincolnton, was arrested Thursday and charged with obtaining property by false pretenses and financial identity theft. She was jailed on $12,500 bail pending further pending further court action, according to the sheriff's office. Thief, 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 thief. Okay, let's see our next story here. Now, this story is about do y'all remember the little boy that got killed in Florida when he was he went on a ride? This is this story. Woman claiming to be cousin of Tyree Simpson, the teen who fell to his death in Florida amusement park, is exposed as an imposter by the victim's mother. While preparing to lay to rest their loved one after a tragic accident, the family of Tyree Simpson has made a statement about someone claiming to be the teen's cousin. Simpson's mother told detectives she does not know who this woman is. Her lawyers also confirmed no one in the family knows this alleged cousin. The woman, known to the media as Shay Johnson, has emerged as a voice advocating for justice for the 14-year-old Missouri teen. She was busy doing press surrounding the March 24th accident, speaking at a memorial vigil and providing the media much-needed insight into what allegedly happened that fateful evening. And I was following the teen's fatal drop from the 430-foot free-fall ride. Johnson told media that Sampson was denied entry on 2 rides early in the evening, but he called her excited about getting on the free-fall ride. He called me. He said, "They gonna let me ride. I can ride. The imposter continued. I said, "Okay, get on. I didn't know this would be my last time talking to him." She targeted her anger toward the operator who allowed the 6'5", 345-pound teen to ride despite the weight restrictions. Now, if there's weight restrictions, and I've been hearing that they're talking about how he didn't fit inside of the ride and it came loose and so forth. That's still the ride operator's problem. He should have fixed that. He shouldn't have let that kid go on, Anyway, let's hear what she had to say. Because this lady's a trip. Okay. Are we going to see some?
Lisa, I did, and his cousin told me that Tyree Simpson was here to have a great time and ride a couple of rides for his spring break here at Icon Park. He's from St. Louis, and you can see this makeshift memorial in place, flowers, balloons, and teddy bears here, and his family beginning to arrive for that 6 p.m. silent vigil.
Here on spring break, I had just talked to him a couple hours right before that had happened. It's hard on us right now.
A hurting family in search of answers. Shay Johnson is 14-year-old Tyree Simpson's cousin and said his deadly fall from this free fall ride at Icon Park was tragic and could have been prevented.
Take this down!
And that's why she appreciates the show of support she's seeing by even complete strangers, people wanting action, and she's even began this petition to try and make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else.
It's not just me and my family that want that ride down. We got over 1,500 names just from yesterday.
She says her cousin Tyree was here on spring break from St. Louis last week, and she talked to him not long before the tragedy happened.
He really wanted to ride the swing, and they told him that he was too big. Then he said he went to the slingshot. They told him he was too big for that. But y'all did not let him get on those two, but y'all let him get on that one, being overweighted.
Now, as the investigation continues, Tyree's family wants people to see his big smile and know he had a bright personality.
And he was a football player, all A's, never got in no trouble. He was a good boy.
This happening ahead of a 6 p.m. vigil in partnership with an Orlando-based nonprofit called Building Generations of Hope.
We do care. We care about the family. We care about what happened. And it's just such a tragedy.
And there you have it, folks. People, I don't know what's wrong with her. How, and I mean, she didn't even have anything that described him particularly for you to be like, okay, that's her cousin or whatever in the articles that she said. Nothing like personal. It's just vague stuff. In one other article, she was saying that they made her clean up the blood or something to that aspect. And I was like, what in the world? She had to clean up the blood. I ain't never heard no mess like that before. Anytime I've heard of people passing, don't they always have someone, like somebody for the coroner squad or whatever? Because that's biohazard material, hazardous material from a dead person. I don't know, man. But yeah, she lied about that. I don't know what's wrong with her. She back crap crazy. But that's the world we live in. So, all right, guys, let's go on to the next story. All right, guys. So here's this one. Florida teacher beaten and hospitalized after attack by 5-year-old student. Now, all you parents that think your kids are angels, some of them are not. Y'all gonna stop having y'all need to talk to your kids. Let kids know, because you don't spank them and so forth. They can't go around just terrorizing people. A 5-year-old terrorizing a whole adult. Anyway, a South Florida teacher was taken to the hospital last week after she was attacked by a 5-year-old student, leaving her dazed and unresponsive. The unidentified instructor was found by first responders sitting on the ground against the wall and appearing to be in a faint state at Pines Lakes Elementary School, about 15 miles southwest of downtown Fort Lauderdale. The victim was clearly weak and dazed, able to blink and breathe regularly. Sorry about that. The victim was clearly weak and dazed, able to blink and breathe regularly, but at no point was able to vocally respond or show signs of a response. The troubling incident started when a 5-year-old boy had to be removed from class for throwing things around and flipping the chairs. The youngster was taken to an empty cool-down room where the attack on the teacher allegedly took place. The teacher was taken to Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood and has since been released, officials said. Can you imagine going home and telling your loved one, your husband, your wife, because they don't say who it is? Oh, it's her husband, 5-year-old, Anyway, on to the next one. Woman grows horn-like protrusions after Botox fox eye thread lift procedure. Oh man, that was a tongue twister. An Australian woman ended up with horn-like protrusions on the sides of her forehead after undergoing a fox eye thread lift. Let's look at her again. Okay, so this is where it was. Oh, I don't. Let's see how she got that. Believed to be inspired by Asian features, the trend uses makeup to create the illusion of almond shaped eyes, supposedly mimicking those of a fox. At the height of its popularity, the trend drew backlash from several social media users who considered it blatant cultural appropriation of Asian facial features. Fox eye thread lifts take the viral makeup trend one step further by pulling the brow area taut using stitches. Oh, so she even had a procedure. Carr took to TikTok to explain what motivated her to undergo the procedure. When I was looking at photos on various surgeons' pages, a before and after image of Bella Hadid was on the main images. Was one of the main images they used to advertise the fox eye threads. And this is Bella Hadid right here. I believe that this was the same procedure that Bella Hadid had. She said it was only $2,000. So I thought, why not? Bella Hadid, Kendall Jenner, and Megan Fox are a few of the celebrities who popularized the trend, which has been criticized for purportedly overlooking the discrimination faced by members of Asian American communities. Carr, who now calls her bot surgery her biggest regret, was left with permanent scarring and protruding skin above her eyebrows that look like tiny horns. Ladies and gentlemen, leave your faces alone. I mean, ugh, from this to this, she looks totally different. Yeah, I don't know. She looked better. She looked better this way to me than this way. And yeah, this is after the procedure, but there was nothing. Yeah, that was uncalled for. She didn't need to do all of that. People, you're lovely just the way you are. Just embrace it and be happy with yourselves. Okay. So our next story is one-legged San Francisco inmate awarded 500,000 after being forced to hop to cell. Okay. A jury this week awarded $504,000 to a one-legged San Francisco County inmate who was denied the use of his wheelchair and forced to hop to a cell while handcuffed. The federal jury awarded the damages to Vincent Bell on Wednesday in a suit he filed against the city and county of San Francisco and several sheriff's deputies. Bell, 40, was one of 6 people charged with taking part in the 2012 murder of a man who was beaten and shot, the San Francisco Chronicle reported. He is accused of providing the gun used by the alleged shooter and is awaiting trial. We hope that it sends a clear message to the city and county of San Francisco that people do not relinquish their constitutional rights once they enter the carceral system. That's the first time I ever heard of that word. All detainees must be accommodated. The city's attorney's office remained adamant that the sheriff's deputies acted responsibly and appropriately when placing and transporting the plaintiff to a safety cell. Bell, whose right leg was surgically amputated, was being held as a pretrial detainee on January 14, 2018, when he was written up for cheering during a football game in order to spend 10 days in restrictive housing. Early that morning, Bell said a deputy sexually harassed him and submitted a complaint that same day. On January 18, while serving out the discipline, he was ordered by Sergeant Yvette Williams to transfer cells. Williams ordered a cell extraction, which is designed to remove individuals from their cells with the use of force and under the threat of great force. Under the threat of greater force, according to the complaint. Williams claimed Bell had barricaded himself in the cell using his bed and mattress, but footage of the incident shows him calmly sitting in his wheelchair with his belongings on his bed. Bell was pinned to the ground, handcuffed, and then ordered to hop out of the cell without his wheelchair. When he was physically unable to continue hopping, he stated that his legs was tired before he collapsed on the ground. Court documents state Williams ordered Bell to stand before a team dragged him to what's known as a safety cell. There he was stripped naked with a rosary necklace cut off his neck and left in the cell for 24 hours. That is crazy. Oh man, it's not funny, but it's crazy. Okay, let's go to this one. Now, this is for all my snackies and my foodies and everybody like to munch on chips and all of that. Well, Doritos says Dorito bags will now have 5 fewer chips thanks to inflation, which means instead of getting 12 chips, now you only gonna get 7 in them little bags. Gas prices are rising and chip numbers are falling. As a result of inflation, bags of Doritos will now include 5 fewer chips. That's right. Now you're only getting 7 chips in the little bags that they sell at the convenience store. And that means you'll be getting about 25 chips in the big bags from the grocery store. Food and Wine reports how Doritos is just the latest snack that has fallen victim to shrinkflation, an ever-pervasive phenomenon in which beloved foodstuffs are getting cut down to size due to inflation. How the snack's parent company, Frito-Lay, confirmed this week how shrinkflation is forcing Doritos to shed 5 chips per bag. So, in other words, in the words of one representative, they can give people the same price so they can keep enjoying Doritos chips. Man, everybody knows that when you buy potato chips, those bags is filled with more air than chips. So we've been paying for air all this time, not no darn chips. The Daily Mail gives color to the phenomenon by explaining how inflation has hit almost 8%, the highest seen in decades. Okay, da 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 da. These four aforementioned companies have also struck down their product sizes in order to keep costs tame for customers, with Crest now selling 3.8-ounce toothpaste instead of 4.1 ounces tubes, and Charmin selling 244 two-ply sheets of toilet paper rolls instead of 264. So there you go, guys. Now even your toilet papers are getting shrunk. Moral of the story: buy popcorn like I do, because your bag is gonna be filled and you're gonna enjoy it. You know what you're getting, you can feel it. Not the chips where it's all air and you shaking up everything. So no more snacking for you guys. Sorry. Okay. So this here story is a crazy story. California legislation would decriminalize killing newborns. Proposed legislation in California will decriminalize killing newborns days or even weeks after birth, reports the California Family Council. Wait a second, I have a different one that's a little better. Let me try this on. Okay. The California bill would allow mothers to murder their baby up to 7 days after birth. On the heels of a Maryland bill that would legalize infanticide up to 28 days after birth, California has put forth its own unlawful infants killing babies bill that would allow for a mother to murder her baby up to 7 days after birth. Sacramento, California. Governor Gavin Newsom's Abortion Council dropped a legislation bombshell. The group of policymakers intend not only to codify the killing of unborn children throughout all 9 months of pregnancy, but to decriminalize killing newborns days or weeks after birth. New language added to AB 2223 last week revealed a disturbing intent. The proposed legislation would shield a mother from civil and criminal charges for any actions or omissions related to her pregnancy, including miscarriage, stillbirth or abortion, or perinatal death. Although definitions of perinatal death vary, all of them include the demise of newborns 7 days or more after birth. It allows a woman to sue any police department or legal authority which arrests or charges her for hurting or killing her child under provisions of the bill. For years, pro life advocates have argued there is no moral difference between ending a child's life days before birth or days after birth. This is some sick mess. You can, in California, basically, this is what I gather. Tell me if y'all understand it the same way I do. In California, you can off your child after the child's been born. So you see this newborn child and so forth. And for whatever reason, postpartum depression, or you just get up one day and you're just not having it, or what have you, and you decide to off this baby, this is sick. Sick, sick, sick. But anyway, guys, tell me what y'all think in the comments. Um, you know, life is crazy and it's just getting crazy and crazier. Don't get distracted too much. It's every now and then you don't have to listen to the craziness, but don't be caught up in the celebrity news all the time that you forget about what else is going on. These little bills and stuff are passing while we focusing on other things. So keep focused and keep your mind right. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all in the next one. Thank you for watching so much. Peace.